assuming that 100% of students, or close to 100% of students with autism spectrum disorder, also have absolute pitch, in what way does that specifically motivate them to learn not just piano but anything? Like, in what way is that particular skill, can it be used to, like, you showed me with the rhythm sticks how to do the math and things like that, but in what way does it make is their brain operating differently that needs to be taken into account when we're teaching anything, whether that is reading, phonics, spelling, history, piano, or crossing the street? Like, in what way does that just globally affect their learning environment?
It globally affects their learning environment, just like you said. However, if it's not addressed as a gift and expanded as a gift, it's gonna hurt them. So it needs to be worked with immediately. So the way we work with it is we understand one of the things we describe is the traits of a perfect pitcher. And the characteristic traits, one of the first characteristic traits, besides for the first one, which is my favorite, denying that you have it, that's the most popular trait. The second most popular trait is an unreasonable expectation of perfection. And if you don't tap into that and you eliminate that anxiety, you ease that anxiety and bring it down every week in the piano lesson, what you're going to have is a person who bullies themselves. You're going to have a person who's doing history homework and they have photographic memory and they have just memorized all of the dates and all of the presidents and all of the everything. And then they come to the test and the teacher throws a curveball question that was not on their list. Guess who's going to be the first one to freak out and throw a chair? So it's the one who doesn't get it perfect, because here's how it translates. When you hear something in the world and you have perfect pitch, your brain tells you exactly what it is, where it is on the piano. Right? You hear it, you know it right away. Smoke alarm. Oh, smoke alarm is here. Oh, microwave's down here. Right? So everything has its an immediate association. How in the world are they supposed to be accepting of the fact that if they need to get a driver's license, they need to pass a road test after taking, they have to prove to the DMV that you cannot get a road test appointment unless you have proven that you have taken 6 driving lessons at least with a licensed driving instructor. Can't be mom and dad. This whole process, this whole bureaucratic procedure drives them bonkers, because they have this expectation that they will sit down into a car and learn how to drive the car just like that. And that's not realistic. So that's what we call the unrealistic expectation of perfection. That just like you can hear something and you know exactly what you heard, you'll be able to sit into a car and learn how to drive. What do you mean? You have to take 6 lessons. What do you mean? You have to take a road test. Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, so you want to ease that perfection from childhood. And the way we do it with the music lesson is we start with the first week. And you could see that anxiety of perfection. A lot of kids, their anxiety level is so high they won't even initiate. They won't even put their hand on the piano because they have this terrifying association with other teachers who have either stopped teaching them when they made one mistake in math, history, science. They've tried to join the soccer team. They couldn't kick the ball on the first try. They were out, off the team. They tried out for ballet and they just were so anxious and they couldn't audition properly, even though they're really talented. They just, because anxiety got in the way, they couldn't get into the team, right? So it's carrying along with them throughout their lives in every area. And the way we take care of that in music is it's reassurance. So you open up the book, right? And you have this page and you're asking them to play it and you see this. You see the hyperventilation, right? And it's your job as the teacher to sit there and say, I will never stop teaching you. We are not, this is what I tell my students, we never, ever, ever count mistakes. We only count corrections. When I see you correcting, I know you have the tools. If you don't correct yourself, I worry if I'm teaching you properly. So every time you fix your fingers and you move yourself into position by yourself, independently, I know I taught you correctly. And when I sit here and I watch you correcting your mistakes, I sit here and I am delighted and I am proud of you. So let's start counting those corrections, right? We never count mistakes, and we never use language like, oops, no, 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 no. We never say that. I will always say, fix your E finger, fix your D finger, fix your F finger, or pretty close. Let's try that one more time, right? We never, ever want to use language associated with imperfection. We want to use language that is associated with people who are training for the Olympics. People who are training for the Olympics, do they wake up one day and they're like, I'm going to do the Olympics, and the next day they're in the Olympics? No. They know they have to tear a billion muscles and sprain their ankles and meniscus surgeries and whatever until they get there and they count to the Olympics, and sometimes they get the third place. Okay? So what we're here to do today is just play this piece and count how many times you have self-corrected. And that is awesome. Look at the end of this, and sometimes I have to point that out to them, and I'm like, when you got to the end of the line and you saw it was E, hold, and you realized your hand was not coming away fast enough because it was only 3 holds, guess what you did? You took your left hand and you pulled away your right hand. I'm so proud of you. Right?
Right.
Point it out to them and say that you've noticed his corrections. Never, ever, ever point out the mistakes. Gosh, they are their own worst self-critics because of the perfect pitch.